Hey guys, I'm Erik Peterson and I'm a men's dating and relationship coach for skillofattraction.com. And today's coaching video is called Where Do You See This Going? Now, as many of you guys know, these coaching videos is one of you writes into me, and if I think it's a question that would be beneficial to my viewers and subscribers, I answer your question in a video. And in today's video, a guy wrote into me where things started off okay with this girl, but he made a few mistakes and things kind of started going south from there. So I'm going to go through his email and see where we could tighten up his game a little bit and hopefully get this girl chasing him again. But if you guys need my personal help and you're interested in some private coaching, please head over to my website at skillofattraction.com. Click on the coaching tab, and there you'll see that I have several options for you to choose from. I offer emergency email coaching that includes a response from me on weekends and holidays, and I also offer bi-weekly and monthly email coaching where I will work with you throughout that time period. Additionally, I offer phone coaching for my U.S. clients. Now, if you live outside the U.S., I will have a phone or Skype coaching option sometime in the future, but for right now, email coaching is the way to go. And I will post a link to both my contact page and my coaching page in the description down below. So let's get on to his email. He says, "Hey Erik, I'll try to keep this short and brief. This girl I'm seeing is 19 like me, and we're still living with our parents. We started hanging out a year ago on and off. After no contact for a while, in February, after 2 dates, she ghosted me for an entire month. Now, I never double texted her. I noticed she finally opened the message, and 2 weeks later in May, I tried again." Well, excuse me, it sounds like she was either a little uncertain about you, maybe she had some options with some other men, or perhaps there was another guy who she really liked. I mean, maybe an ex, or maybe she was on the outs with someone. I mean, we really don't know, but it seems like something else was distracting her. But you handled it right. I mean, she knew you were interested, but she was showing you little interest at the time, and you just let her go. And you noticed some life sparked in her again on her side when you noticed that she checked the message and you tried again. And there's nothing wrong with that. As I said before, in the beginning of the courtship, before the relationship has been established, men have to do a majority of the chasing in most cases. So, good job. We started going out again, and I could tell she was really into me. We went out a few more times, having a good time. I came home early from a trip in July, and she came over and we slept together. We did it again 2 days later, and I also spent the night at her house, and we spent the whole next day together. She was really attracted to me with cuddling, hand-holding, and having the look in her eyes. Yes, all signs of a high level of attraction. It seems that you were reading how she felt about you by watching her actions, and that's exactly what you want to do. You want to pay attention to a woman's actions more than her words, because her actions never lie. He says, "Everything was going great until my mistakes of getting upset she was ignoring me while I was waiting for a response on the day of the date, and she ended up canceling because it scared her." Yeah, that was definitely a mistake. I mean, her actions in this particular situation was most likely a little test to see if she could get a reaction out of you. I mean, women give these little tests to men to find out what they're made of. I know a lot of you guys get angry with women because they test men, but there's no way around it besides passing a majority of her tests. Because the more tests that you pass, the less she tests you. And while she may have had a legitimate excuse for why she wasn't responding, it was still a test. I mean, if you think about it, it takes all of, a couple seconds to respond to someone? I mean, is it rude? Yes. Can you do anything about it? Not really, besides just making sure that you don't let her see that it's affecting you. And yes, when you lose your temper or get overly emotional, it scares women. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that she was fearing for her life or something, but this sort of behavior is often a red flag to women that you can't control your emotions. And in their mind, this could easily lead to some sort of abuse or stalking or something similar to that. And that sort of thing is very scary to women. Hence, one of the many reasons women test men. He says, a few days later, I made it worse by trying to have a talk with her over text, apologizing and saying I was never upset, and asked, where do you see this going? Now, there was nothing wrong for apologizing for this, but it was unnecessary to continue to explain yourself. You don't need to overly explain yourself, because when you're doing that, you're using male logic, and that won't change anything in terms of how she feels emotionally. So in the future, you just want to apologize and try to get the tone back to a playful one. Now, I'm guessing what happened here is that when you were getting frustrated about her not responding, you contacted her over text and she misinterpreted it. Now, this is why texting is such a bad idea, except for cases where you're exchanging information, like, I'll be there in 15 minutes, or maybe a few little jokes or something like that, but it never ends well, especially serious conversations. Because after that, you were trying to have a serious conversation over text, which just really made it worse, especially when you said, where do you see this going? Because it sounds like you were becoming impatient about the pace of the courtship. I mean, you only been on a couple dates. And you always have to remember that women set the pace. If it's not moving quick enough for you, then you want to begin turning your attention towards other women who are moving at the pace you are comfortable with. And another thing to remember, as a man, you never want to be focused on a commitment or relationship labels. Like I said, if you're not getting what you want out of the relationship or your needs aren't being met, then slowly move on to other women. If she values you, she will make something happen sometime in the future. So you don't really need to worry about it that much. And as a side note, I want to make sure you guys understand that only if you're in a committed relationship do you want to communicate your needs aren't being met. When you do it this soon in the courtship, like you've only been out on a couple dates or sometimes even the first few months, you don't want to be communicating that your needs aren't being met because it sounds really needy. So doing that at this point would be just way too soon. So I just want to make sure you guys understand the difference here. Because sometimes there will be times where you have to communicate that your needs aren't being met. But this is not the time. He continues here, she then tried to friendzone me, which I denied, and she said she guesses we can see where this goes. Okay, it's good that you rejected her offer of friendship, but her response to that seems a bit unenthusiastic. Like she was kind of like, I don't know about this. However, if she was completely done with you, she would have just ended it right there, then and there, or at least slowly disappeared, or maybe even ghosted you like she already did in the past. So this tells me there was still something there for her at that point. I realize what huge mistakes those were, and I'm desperate to fix it. It made it awkward between us. Well, you have to be careful here because you're using words like desperate and fix it. And this is really just your male brain working here. I mean, we're fixers and we're problem solvers. However, that takes logic and rational thinking, and both of those have no effect on a woman's emotions or her attraction. Plus, with this mindset of fixing and being desperate, it's most likely causing you to make mistakes because you're trying too hard. And when you're trying too hard, you're giving off this desperate vibe, which will only turn her off. He says, she left for a trip in August and she came back and we've hung out twice since then. It's very obvious she has lost a lot of attraction. My question is, where do I go from here, or is it unfixable? Well, I wouldn't say that it's unfixable per se, but the outcome is going to be based largely on her attraction level. As you mentioned, at this point, her attraction is quite low. So unfortunately, there's not a whole heck of a lot that you can do until she begins to move towards you again. He continues, I also want to bring up in person the fact that I never should have brought up the what are we type of talk, and I don't want things to be awkward between us. Is there a right way to do that? Thanks. No, you definitely do not want to bring that up again. The moment has passed, and by bringing it up again, you're only going to remind her why her attraction for you has dropped. Women don't always notice on a conscious level why their attraction has dropped. They just don't feel it. So you don't want to remind her. And at this point, you just want to let this go and begin to turn your focus on moving forward. So for now, you want to reach out once a week and try to arrange a date. And when you do interact with her, you want to have a light, fun, and playful vibe. You know, flirt with her a bit, playfully tease her, and then simply tell her that you would like to see her and ask her when she's free to get together. But don't spend too much time on the phone either. You don't want to be wasting her time with that stuff. The idea here is to remind her why she liked you in the first place and how much fun you are. So you just want to stimulate her emotions again, get it back into a playful tone. However, if she rejects your offer for a date twice in a row, then you don't want to ask her anymore. The ball is now in her court, and you want to begin to let her come to you. So you let her initiate contact with you, and you let her arrange any get-togethers or dates for the next time. Because if you keep asking her, you will just come across as needy and a man with little to no options, which will have the opposite effect of what you're trying to accomplish with her. So in the meantime, you want to continue working on your self-improvement, chasing your goals, and dating other women. I mean, that's really the most attractive thing that you can do right now. And just remember to avoid these mistakes in the future. I mean, you've made them. Hopefully you've learned from them. So obviously you don't want to repeat them in the future. And if you just continue to work on yourself and build a life of abundance, which, you know, much of what I teach will happen naturally for you when you do have a life of abundance. And neediness, desperation, and whatnot, that's all typically rooted in a lack of abundance and where you're trying to fill some sort of a void. So this is really what you have to do. Just take it slow, take it easy. Don't try not to focus so much on trying to fix things with her. Just kind of let her come to you and try to keep things playful and fun and light. No more relationship talk for a while. Let her bring that stuff up. So if you found this video helpful, or any of my videos helpful, I would really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up, and for you to share it with any of your friends and family. And I would also really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button down below and tick that little bell symbol next to it so you get real-time notifications of when I upload new videos. And in the description down below, not only will I have a link to both my contact page and my coaching page, and I have a link to some recommended reading of some great books that will really help you further understand how attraction works with women and understanding the masculine-feminine dynamics in relationships. But I also have a link to PayPal if you deem this video worthy of a donation. So that's it for this video. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Have a good one. Bye-bye.